Subcommittee hearing will come to order, and welcome to all of our distinguished witnesses, and also to my good friend and colleague, the gentlelady from California. Let me just ask you with regards to the human rights situation. I mean, the State Department's country reports of human rights practices is an indictment on a myriad of human rights abuses being committed. I mentioned the CPC designation based on religious persecution, and Father elaborated on just the number of people who are actually incarcerated for their faith, and the Tier 2 designation by the U.S. Department of State's TIP office, which painstakingly looks at child and sex trafficking, and they're the worst. They're among the worst in the world. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
I do not disagree with that.
Okay. I'd like to yield to my friend and colleague, Ms. Bass, for any questions she might have.
Yeah. Ms. Bruton, you support the Eritrean government.
What I think is that saying that I support the Eritrean government is, to me, it's a vague statement.
Okay.
I don't think that there is a viable alternative to the Eritrean government. And
when you say the community service, government service is voluntary, how do people feed themselves? How do they receive no salary? They're forced to work for the government?
If you were to speak with diplomats or an Eritrean on the street, I've asked a lot of people on the street in Asmara about national service. Some of them have horrific experiences with it, there is no doubt. I don't question the testimony of any person who, for example, has spoken to the Commission of Inquiry. I am grateful for their courage in coming forward. But there
does the government subsidize parts of life? I mean, because the way it's been described is it's forced labor, it's slavery, people are not paid. So I'm just trying to figure out which is it.
People are very poor, and the wages for the national service are not living wages. They are a pittance. They're worse than a pittance.
Whatever the numbers are, why are a lot of people fleeing?
A lot of people are fleeing because the human rights situation is terrible. A lot of people are fleeing because the economic situation is terrible.
And just one last question. So what is the human rights situation from your vantage point, from your viewpoint? What are the human rights abuses?
I think that all of the human rights abuses that have been described are absolutely real. I have no doubt that the military are bad actors. The extent to which their behavior is condoned by the government, I don't really know.
Okay. Thank you very much. I yield back.